Thomas College in Waterville opened its doors to new science labs today.
After a ribbon cutting, there were tours and demonstrations led by students and professors.
The expansion of science programming at the college includes a renovated lab space, a brand new chemistry lab, an advanced laboratory, and a prep area.
It comes as Thomas is making efforts into expanding their science studies, including new majors and professors.
And as the president of the college, I understand fully what it means for Thomas. And this is indeed a very great day for Thomas College. This ribbon cutting demonstrates the power of positive thinking and that can-do attitude that is so much part of who Thomas College is.
Although typically known as a business school, Thomas hopes to continue to expand its offerings.
They plan to create a biology major that will begin next fall.